Okay, so today we are going to be finding out how America was able to acquire some more land from Mexico. Okay, so far we found out that America acquired land after the Revolutionary War, where the area of the 13 colonies was, and then it annexed the rest of this area that's in this brown color up to the Mississippi River. The next thing it got was this Louisiana territory from the French that they bought. And of course, Lewis and Clark went on an expedition there to see what was there. Down in this area where you kind of can't see, Florida was acquired from Spain. And then in 1845, Texas was annexed and became a state. Texas was taken from Mexicans. And then we have the Oregon Territory, which was acquired from Great Britain. Great Britain didn't need really that land anymore, and they went ahead and gave it to America because they didn't want to fight them. Today we're going to be talking about these two areas right here. This light pink area called the Mexican Cession, and this kind of salmon colored area called the Gadsden Purchase. So we're going to be reading about both of those in one section. The section's a little bit long as far as the reading goes, but you're going to be finding out how America acquired both of these areas. All right, so if you will, look with me at the reading. It starts off with Mexican Cession in 1848, and then the Gadsden Purchase is 1853. Again, you're looking for how did America get this land and how did it affect the people that were already living there. So as I read, it says, the next large addition to the United States came as a result of what Americans now call the Mexican War. One cause of this war was that the United States had annexed Texas, but the Mexican government wanted Texas back. Mexico also knew that many Americans wanted other Mexican lands, including California. The two countries also disagreed about the southwestern boundary of Texas. Americans wanted the boundary to be the Rio Grande, while Mexico wanted it to be about 150 miles farther north and east. In 1846, President Polk sent an army led by General Zachary Taylor to protect the Rio Grande. A group of Mexican soldiers tried to defend the area, believing that it belonged to Mexico. Crossing the river, they fought a small group of Americans. President Polk said that Mexico had shed American blood on the American soil. Now the president had an excuse to go to war. Mexico, he told Congress, had started the fighting, and on May 13, 1846, Congress voted to declare war. Many Americans were against the war because they felt that the United States was just trying to get more land. Others supported President Polk and cheered each U.S. victory. The war went on for nearly 2 years. The United States won the first battle at Santa Fe easily, but Mexico did not give in. President Polk then ordered U.S. troops to capture Mexico City, the capital. Mexican soldiers battled fiercely to defend their country, and both sides suffered great losses. In one battle at Mexico City, about 800 U.S. soldiers and 3,000 Mexican soldiers died or were captured. Even when U.S. soldiers captured the capital, Mexico did not admit defeat. Volunteer American soldiers continued to attack, rob, and kill Mexican citizens. Finally, the Mexicans surrendered. In February 1848, Mexico signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. In the agreement, Mexico ceded a huge amount of territory to the United States. The territory was called the Mexican Cession. It included the present-day states of California, New Mexico, Utah, and Nevada, as well as parts of 4 other states. Mexico also agreed to the Rio Grande as the border of Texas. The United States paid Mexico $15 million for this land. 5 years later, in 1853, Congress bought one last piece of Mexican land for $10 million. It was an area south of the Gila River, in present-day Arizona and New Mexico. This land contained a pass through the mountains. The pass would make it easier to build a railroad across the southern United States. This land sale became known as the Gadsden Purchase, named for an American who had worked out the agreement. After the war with Mexico, American farmers, ranchers, and miners poured into the new lands. Their arrival changed the lives of people in the Southwest. These newcomers often took land that had previous claims on it. Mexican and American Indians were offered the poorest jobs. In the years to come, these new settlers would fight many wars against Apaches and other American Indians before finally forcing them onto reservations. So you can see on the map at the top of this page, again, that area in orange was the Mexican Cession. And again, the way that they got that was they fought a war, the Mexican War, for 2 years, and then Mexico ended up selling them the land for $15 million. And then the area that's kind of purple just to the south of the Mexican Cession is the Gadsden Purchase, and America paid $10 million for that land. So As you can see now, the map is kind of complete besides Hawaii and Alaska. Most of the United States has been established. Some things to keep in mind, first of all, is that Mexicans and Native Americans were living in this area. All right, American farmers and ranchers basically came into this area and kind of took over the land, even though it belonged to some other people. And then the Mexicans and American Indians were offered very poor jobs, and then had to fight for the land that they had left, specifically the Native Americans. And eventually they were moved onto reservations. And like I said, we're going to go further into what was going on with reservations later in this unit. So today, again, you're going to have to tell me, how did America acquire this land from Mexico? And I think I just told you. And then how did it affect those people that were already living there? And know the difference between the Mexican Cession and the Gadsden Purchase. All right.